Welcome to another episode of Management Unplugged by GR. Today we're embarking on a deep dive into the absolutely fascinating journey of Qihoo 360. They're a Chinese internet company that really truly shook up the tech world. And at the heart of this story is their CEO, Hongyi Zhou. People often describe him as, well, a true revolutionary. Apparently, he even had a picture of Che Guevara famously hanging in his office. That certainly hints at a disruptive approach, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, yeah. And what's really compelling about Qihoo, I think, is how a company that honestly seemed to be stumbling at first, how they managed to completely turn things around. They did it by, well, boldly defying conventional wisdom, taking on the established giants head on. So our mission today is really to unpack those audacious strategies, the epic battles and surprising pivots that made Qihoo 360 such a force. It's quite a story, a masterclass in challenging the status quo.
Okay, so where did it all begin? Like a lot of these disruptive stories, it wasn't instant success, was it? More like a key misstep first.
Exactly. Yeah. Founded back in 2005, they initially tried to be a search technology provider for online communities. But, Zhu himself admitted later they realized, quote, didn't understand that online communities revolve around relationships between users, not content.
So they were focused on the wrong thing. Content versus connection.
Precisely. Not exactly a recipe for growth, as you said. So recognizing that fundamental misunderstanding, they made a really critical pivot. July 2006, they launched 360 Safeguard, completely shifted focus to security software.
It was a smart move back then. Malware was a big problem.
Oh, huge, massive problem in China at the time. You had companies secretly installing unwanted toolbars, changing home pages. You had Trojans, these malicious programs disguised as good ones, spreading like wildfire. It was, the Wild West malware.
Okay, and this is where the disruption really kicks in, right? The free part.
This is it. January 2007, they did something nobody expected. They started offering 360 Safeguard completely free.
Free. Give it away.
Yep. It wasn't just about free software, though. It was like this masterclass in aggressive market capture, showing how a bold, user-first approach can just dismantle established ways of making money. It forced competitors onto their terms.
So how did that work initially? Was it instantly free or?
Well, at first they bundled it with a free 6-month trial of Kaspersky's antivirus. They got a cut when people eventually bought Kaspersky.
Okay, so there was some income stream at the start.
A small one, yeah. But that was just the opening act, really. That decision, offering Safeguard free, it was a total game changer. Then by 2009, Qihoo took it even further. Launched their own antivirus product, 360 Antivirus, also completely free.
Wow. So they cut off the Kaspersky income stream, too.
Exactly. Gave up millions in potential commissions from those third-party firms. It was a huge commitment to the strategy. Really reflects that quote from Zhu where he referenced Mao Zedong saying, if we can hold on to our users, then there will be hope.
Users first, profit later. A long game.
Totally. It fundamentally shifted the industry's thinking. From owning software to just accessing security. Other Chinese companies like Rising Software, King Softcore, they were basically forced to follow suit, offer their products free, too.
But it was too late for them.
Pretty much, yeah. By June 2010, something like 75% of Chinese PC users were already on Qihoo's 360 antivirus. And that climbed to over 90% by June 2012. Just incredible dominance.
Near monopoly territory. And was the product actually good? Or just free?
Oh, it was good, too. They were innovating constantly. They developed a cloud-based antivirus engine, which meant their blacklists of bad software and whitelists of good software were always up to date. And get this, they minimized annoying warning messages. They only flagged viruses when they actually started infecting the computer.
So less cry wolf. That builds trust, right?
Exactly. It was remarkably user-friendly, fostered incredible loyalty.
Okay, so you can't grow that fast, grab 90% of the market without rattling some cages, stepping on some big toes.
Absolutely not. And the biggest toes belong to Tencent. Qihoo's rapid rise 360 Safeguard hit 282 million users by August 2010, put them squarely on a collision course with Tencent, China's largest internet company, remember. They had 341 million users on their QQ instant messaging service.
Okay, so the stage was set for a showdown, a tech soap opera, as you put it.
It really was. A proper clash of titans. In 2010, Tencent made its move. They started bundling their own security software called QQ Doctor with their hugely popular QQ Messenger.
Leveraging their existing user base. Smart.
Very smart. And effective. They instantly grabbed something like a 40% market share overnight. a direct challenge to Qihoo.
So how did Qihoo respond? True to form, they didn't just roll over, I assume?
They're not a chance. Qihoo counterattacked hard. They started accusing QQ of scanning user data without consent. Big privacy accusation.
Oof, playing the privacy card.
Yep. Then they released something called QQ Privacy Protector. It basically blocked Tencent's ability to scan files. And conveniently, it also hid ads within the QQ application.
Wow. So fighting fire with fire. Or maybe fighting software with software. Qihoo argued they were protecting users, but it sounds pretty aggressive too.
Oh, it was definitely aggressive. And the escalation was, well, unprecedented. November 3rd, 2010. Tencent files a lawsuit. Okay, standard enough. But the really dramatic move, Tencent refused to run its QQ Instant Messenger on any computer that had 360 Safeguard installed.
What? No, you're kidding.
Not kidding. Imagine being a user then. You suddenly have to choose your main chat program or your main security software.
That's insane. You're forcing hundreds of millions of people to pick a side.
Exactly. Hundreds of millions choose sides in a corporate war.
It really is like a public celebrity feud, but affecting almost everyone online in China. The user frustration must have been off the charts.
It absolutely was. The public anger got so intense that the government, state ministries actually had to step in.
The government intervened. Yep. They had to bring the two sides together, tell them to sort it out. Both companies eventually apologized publicly, made their software compatible again, and a court later ruled Qihoo had to pay Tencent, I think it was about $800,000 in compensation.
Wow. That whole episode is now famously known as the 3Q War, right?
That's the one, the 3Q War, a legendary tech battle.
Okay, so they survived the war. They have this massive free user base. But the big question remains, right? If your main product is free, how on earth do you actually make money? How did Zhou and his team solve that puzzle?
Right, that's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? The answer lies in their very clever open platform strategy. Basically, build this huge user base with free tools people trust, then leverage that reach to, well, sell other things or integrate paid services.
Okay, makes sense. How did they start implementing that?
It really began with the 360 Safe browser, launched back in May 2008. Initially, it was positioned as a security thing because something like 70% of viruses back then spread through websites. So a secure browser made sense?
Another user-focused product first. Exactly. But it quickly became a major revenue engine. By August 2013, it was the second biggest browser in China, had nearly 25% market share, only behind Microsoft's Internet Explorer.
So how did a browser make money? Ads.
Ads, but in a really clever way. They had the 360 personal startup page, how.360.cn, launched in 2009. This became the default homepage for everyone using the 360 Safe browser.
Ah, prime real estate.
Absolutely. It was essentially a giant advertising portal. Every single URL link on that page, Qihoo charged fees for it.
Seriously, every link.
Yep. In 2011, e-commerce sites like Taobao made up like half the ad revenue from that page alone. And even Google paid over 10% of the revenue just to have its search bar included on the page.
That's Angie's turning the browser homepage into a money-making machine.
It really was. And it wasn't just the browser and the start page. They also launched the 360 game browser in 2009, also pushed via 360 Safeguard, of course.
So connecting users to games.
Right. It offered web games from third-party developers. Qihoo had revenue-sharing deals. They got paid whenever users downloaded or played games through their browser.
So the free security software really was like a Trojan horse in a good way, bringing users into their whole ecosystem.
That's a perfect analogy. Yeah. Build trust with free security, then introduce them to monetized services. Very smart.
Okay, so they cracked monetization, browser, start page, games. What was next? Taking on another giant.
You guessed it. Building on that momentum and massive user base, Qihoo made another incredibly bold move, entering the search market.
Search, but wasn't that completely dominated by Baidu?
Completely. For years, Baidu was king, held over 80% market share in Q2 2012. They'd basically pushed Google out of China. It looked like an untouchable monopoly.
So Qihoo decided to challenge that. That takes guts.
It really does. Mid-August 2012, they launched their own search engine, so.com. And the impact was immediate. Baidu's stock price dropped nearly 6% right away.
Just the announcement caused that?
Yep. It showed how seriously the market took Qihoo's threat.
And how did they get users? I mean, switching search engines is hard.
But they had the browser, remember? Instant market penetration. They instantly grabbed a 10% market share on launch day.
10%?
Yeah.
On day one.
Simple. They just made so.com the default search engine on their super popular 360 Safe browser, and they swapped out Google's search bar on that lucrative 360 personal startup page for their own. Boom. Instant audience.
Leveraging their existing assets. Very efficient.
Very. And they also positioned So.com cleverly. They branded it as a safer search engine, promised to fight phishing, fraudulent websites, stuff users were worried about.
Taking a jab at Baidu.
Directly. Zhou explicitly mentioned Baidu users complaining about fraudulent results, like fake medical ads. He said Qihoo refused those medical ads and would only show, like, a maximum of 3 ads per page, much cleaner.
So the motivation was framed as user protection again, breaking the monopoly for the user's benefit.
That was the narrative, yeah. Breaking the monopoly to improve user experience and trust.
Did Baidu fight back? I imagine they weren't thrilled.
Oh, absolutely. Baidu wasn't going to sit idly by. They formed alliances with security firms, including Kingsoft, Qihoo's rival. And they got really aggressive, trying to redirect traffic coming from So.com back to Baidu. It became an all-out war for search clicks.
Another war. So did Qihoo's search engine survive the onslaught?
It did. Despite Baidu's pushback, So.com's market share kept growing. It hit 18% by August 2013, solidified its place as the number 2 player, proved the power of their user base and that safer search message.
Incredible. Okay, but while all this PC drama was unfolding, the antivirus, the browser, the search wars, something else massive was happening, right? Mobile.
Exactly. The Chinese mobile market was just exploding. We're talking 354 million smartphone users in 2013, a huge shift.
Did Qihoo jump on that?
They did. They launched 360 Mobile Safe back in 2010. And they quickly became a leader there, too. Had about 30 million users by early 2011. Looked like another success story.
I sense a but coming.
Yeah, there was a but. They hit some initial stumbles on mobile. Basically, Qihoo tried to expand too quickly, launched multiple mobile products all at once. Things like a mobile assistant, a mobile browser, even an instant voice messenger. They spread their resources too thin.
Trying to do too much too fast.
Exactly. And as a result, the core product, 360 Mobile Safe, its growth actually slowed down. User numbers only went from 30 million to maybe 40 million by the end of 2011. And their market share dropped from around 60% down to 50%. Competitors like Tencent and Kingsoft started catching up again, showed the risk of, over-diversification.
So another pivot needed. How did Zhou handle that?
He called for a crucial refocus, a dramatic shift in strategy. He called it the nailing strategy. Told his teams, quote, concentrate on nailing one high-quality product into users' smartphones first.
Nail one thing perfectly before expanding. Makes sense.
Yeah, get one core product absolutely right, make it indispensable. They even brought in non-technical staff, like from HR or admin, to challenge the product design.
Tell he non-tech people.
What? To get a fresh perspective. Focus on user experience, push for micro-innovations, driven purely by what users actually needed and said they wanted.
Interesting approach. Did it work? Any examples?
Oh, it worked brilliantly. A great example is the anti-theft features they built into 360 Mobile Safe starting August 2011. Really sophisticated stuff. Remote lock, data wipe, location tracking.
Okay, standard features now, maybe, but back then.
Cutting edge back then. And here's the kicker. During the Chinese New Year festival in 2012, a time when phone theft spikes, this feature actually helped users get back something like 500 lost or stolen phones.
Yeah. Really? 500 phones?
Yep. And it even helped the police solve some robbery cases using the tracking data.
That's incredible PR. You can't buy that kind of publicity.
Exactly. Tangible, real-world benefit. It massively boosted their brand awareness, proved the power of a truly useful, user-focused feature, especially on mobile.
So that sharp focus really paid off then.
Big time. By June 2013, 360 Mobile Safe was being used by over 70% of Chinese smartphone users. A huge turnaround.
70%. Okay, so they nailed mobile security. But the search war wasn't over, right? Even with mobile booming.
Not at all. The fight for search dominance, especially linking PC and mobile search, continued to heat up. Which brings us to the intense competition for Sogou.
Sogou, who were they?
Sogou was the third largest search engine at the time, behind Baidu and Qihoo's So.com, had about 10% market share by August 2013. It was owned by another company, Sohu. And Sogou had a secret weapon.
Which was?
It's hugely popular smart input software, the keyboard predictor thing.
Like predictive text keyboards.
Exactly. So Sogou's input method had like 195 million active users.
Right.
And they used that massive user base to promote their search engine, a very strategic asset.
I see. So Sogou became a really valuable acquisition target.
Extremely valuable,
right.
Which led to a full-blown bidding war in early 2013.
Qihoo jumped in.
Oh, yeah. Qihoo made a really aggressive offer, something like $400 $400 million in cash, plus $1 billion in their own stock.
$1 billion in stock. That's
And
huge.
it was nearly all their cash at the time, and about 20% of their company shares. A massive bet.
Did Baidu respond?
Of course. Baidu countered with $1.5 billion, all cash.
Wow. And Tencent, were they involved too?
Yep, Tencent threw their hat in the ring too. Even though their own search engine, soso.com, wasn't doing great, they desperately needed more traffic, especially mobile traffic, so they wanted Sogou as well.
So Qihoo, Baidu, Tencent, all fighting over Sogou. That really highlights how intense the competition was, huh?
Absolutely. The stakes were incredibly high. It wasn't just about buying a search engine. It was about securing strategic position, locking down user traffic, especially as everything tilted towards mobile. Zhou himself said it at the time, something like, "The next 2 years will determine the market structure of this field." He knew how critical this moment was.
A fascinating, high-stakes game of chess playing out.
Definitely. And Qihoo's whole journey, really, from near failure to challenging giants, it just shows the incredible power of, well, challenging the status quo, prioritizing user trust, even if it means sacrificing short-term revenue. Their whole story, disruption, pivots, that relentless user focus. It's a powerful counter-narrative, which I think raises a really important question for listeners, for you. In today's tech world, with information overload, dominant platforms.com, what lessons can you actually take from Qihoo's story? About innovation, about disruption, and maybe the enduring value of putting users first. It's definitely something to think about. See you later. Bye.